Welcome back to Hot Take Sports, episode 19. We'll just start by going around the circle. Isaac, how you doing?
Good.
There you go. Braden, how are you?
Sad, but we'll get to that later.
All right.
Fair enough. Started training for college soccer today, a couple days ago, so I'm pretty sore, but doing pretty good.
Cool.
How about you, Clayton?
I'm doing good. I started working out for the Air Force, too, so we'll make sure that.
And I heard you had a great day at work, too.
Yeah, I did. I got shocked by an electric fence multiple times. It was fun. Anyway, moving on.
So I got covered in crap by sheep. Makes you feel any better, so.
That does make me feel a little bit better.
Got you.
Brady, what'd you do today?
Went to the doctor.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of productive. What about you, Isaac? Alright, so anyways, the NFL draft.
Watched the movie with my dad. Slept well then.
Nice.
Yeah, so like nothing.
Sounds like a quality day for you, bud.
There you go. Alright, so today we are going to be talking about the NFL draft. The wins, the losses, who we think is going to be good, surprises, and then other miscellaneous things about the NFL. So, I think we'll get started. The Browns picked before the Patriots picked before the Browns. So, Brady, you get to start. How did you feel about your team's draft?
Well, I mean, I think our first 4 rounds were actually pretty good. I mean, obviously, leading up to the draft, there's a whole bunch of Justin Fields speculation with the Patriots. So, once he did not fall that far, I was not like the happiest camper. Obviously, you guys all saw. I was big sad because what's better than your favorite college quarterback going to be on your pro team.
And for our listeners, Brady's really undercutting how depressed he was when this was going on. Like that might be the most upset I've ever seen you concerning sports.
It wasn't even upset because he wasn't like angry. He was just really sad. You could see like his shoulders dropped. He's like slouched over more. His smile just disappeared for the rest of the night.
He was just kind of staring at the TV.
There in silence.
It was rough, but I mean,
Brady made the famous mistake of hearing rumors about his sports team and getting really excited just to be majorly let down.
No, the best part about it was, okay, it's gonna happen. Then this little team came in and stole his hope and dreams. We'll get to that later.
yeah, well, they've been stealing hopes and dreams since the last time they took a quarterback, so.
Touche.
Brady, why don't you walk our listeners through what exactly went on before you guys got leapfrogged?
Oh, before and after. Yeah,
and after.
Tell them about your next couple days of reflection, too. It was great listening to
Oh,
it.
yeah, Well, I mean, obviously on draft night, I showed up, I was excited. I was like, okay, we're going to get Justin. We can do this. Then, we had the first 4 picks of the draft. Like, okay, it's what we expected. Pick 5 and beyond, no. Just not even remotely what we expected. Like, that was just the turn of it all. Interdivisional trade to leapfrog, and then all of a sudden you had this team with a red rifle who just appeared out of nowhere to swipe Justin Fields away. And then, Ken spent the next 2 days during the draft being like, maybe this isn't all that bad. Now here I am. Not sure how to feel yet. Just think Cam's probably going to still end up being the starter.
At least you guys did not get shut out of a quarterback.
Yeah,
that was huge.
Yeah, that's true.
I would have laughed if that happened, though. Because I have been there.
Why? Because you guys finally got a quarterback for the first time since 1999.
And
Precisely.
What you gonna say about it? What about it?
Better than your quarterbacks.
The only reason Baker is, as much better than Cam right now as he is just because, Cam's been hurt.
He can throw the ball?
Well, yeah, that's...
He will throw the ball?
He will throw the ball.
He is willing to throw the ball. He is not there to run the ball.
It's... The NFL's for our group, for this little Hot Take Sports group, it's an interesting dynamic change because for the last 15, 20 years, the Browns have always been the team that had some potential, but they weren't good. And they were always in this flux of you never know what was going to happen, and odds are they were going to be bad.
I was going to say, we were between 5-11 and 0-16 basically my entire life.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden the script has flipped.
Like 1 year.
They went 7. The year we had Johnny Manziel, we went 7-9.
Was it the same? Was it like Brian Hoyer and Johnny Manziel piggyback that year?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what year was that.
Yep, that was 2014. I'm pretty sure.
It's the last time Brian Hoyer was actually relevant.
Exactly.
Other than freaking holding the gosh dang clipboard.
Holding the clipboard.
Anyway, continue.
We re-signed him to do. Brought back Hoyer again.
Hey man,
Veteran presence.
he's a good veteran.
Yeah.
I think.
We already have one of those.
In what?
He had 8 touchdowns last year.
Who?
They're not the brightest.
Cam? Would you? Well, yeah, I guess he's been in the
He's
league
a
a while.
veteran,
Yeah,
I was gonna say he's 31 or 32.
I forget that
Say,
he's that
more of a
old.
veteran than Baker is.
Yeah.
I mean, Baker's this
Baker's
is
not a
fourth
veteran.
year.
Yeah, this is his. Yeah, this is Baker's.
Yeah. It's his 4th year.
Yeah,
This
Yeah,
will be
because they
starting
picked up
fourth
his,
year.
picked
You're
up his
right.
4th year option. But like it's crazy now because now the Browns are seen as a title contender, I guess, and look like they could be in a consistent future for a while,
And they-
especially with the pieces that they have. And now the Patriots are kind of in this flux that nobody knows what's going to happen, and if you go off of last year, they're going to be bad. But they made a lot of changes, so they have the potential there, and you just you never know how
blocking
things are going to
tight
swing.
ends.
Yeah, lots of good tight ends that are really good at catching.
No, guys, they're
No.
premier tight ends. Thank you.
They are premier pass
For
catching
the
tight
market.
ends.
They were the premier on the market. Overall, the premier tight ends are Kittle and Kelsey, but all of you clowns knew that. Okay?
Yeah.
Speaking of tight ends, I'm assuming you guys saw that Njoku no longer wants out.
Well, he didn't want out like midway through last year.
I'm about to
They're
say,
on good
he
terms.
changed
I was gonna
his
say-
mind
I was gonna say,
real quick.
Yeah, once they were winning, and he was like, "Oh, hey, wait a minute."
He like publicly seriously reminded me the other day. He's like, "Yeah, I'm staying here now."
Which is good. I'm happy he's staying. He's a big, strong, athletic tight end. So, nothing wrong with that.
That's what you have to be a tight end. In most cases, but we'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
Well, that depends on if you're supposed to be a blocking tight end or a catching tight end. You guys signed catching tight ends for blocking, so we'll see how that works out.
Brady, we'll start obviously with your first round pick. Are you happy with Mac Jones?
All the commercial memes are just kind of floating in my head right now.
There are a lot of memes of Mac Jones, so
That's true.
I mean, if Mac the Meme Jones can lead our squad for the foreseeable future, I'm fine with that. I mean, I know a lot of people say foreseeable future is like 20 years. I'm fine with like 6 or 7. Like that's all I need from the meme. And
okay.
we're
So
fine.
give me your prediction. When is Mac Jones the starter for the Patriots? Either give me a year or a week.
If he's not by week 5, I'll be surprised.
So week 5 of this year.
Mainly because New England plays Tampa Bay week 4 at home, and if Cam looks bad, it's over.
You mean when? I think almost every quarterback in the NFL would look bad against Tampa Bay. I think that's a very fair
No,
statement.
don't you dare say Baker would look good against Tampa Bay. They would crush him.
Patrick Mahomes looked really good against Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
didn't
that's
have any
true.
help.
Yeah,
Nobody
exactly.
else did.
Exactly.
I was going to say Mac Jones will start by week 2, but okay.
No, I'll give him until week 5.
No.
See,
17
I
weeks
wanted
season.
to say that, but I know that that's not true.
I don't even know if Mac Jones will start this season,
Yeah.
other than when they've officially dropped out of playoff contention in the last 3 or 4 games, or of course if / when Cam Newton gets hurt. Because at this point, it seems like it's a guarantee. He's going to miss a couple weeks every
I'm
season.
not gonna lie.
Which, I mean, that happens as you get older. And,
Right, he's in his 30s.
and he's a power quarterback, so I mean, it's going to happen.
We could use Mac Jones last year when Cam went down with COVID, because that was when our season derailed. Because we were 2.
Was it though?
We were
I
Isaac.
mean,
We were
yeah.
2-1, almost 3-0. Then Cam got COVID, and we finished the year at 7.
Y'all got stuffed on the 1-yard line by the Seahawks defense.
Yeah, because you
Okay.
know what? Because the
Which-
Seahawks had a
Yeah, but-
non-flashback to last
but-
time they were on the
But
1-yard line.
at that point, Seattle's defense didn't look like a horrible defense. It was after that everybody went, I thought you guys were good at this part.
I was gonna say no. Seattle had a non-flashback. They were like, "Hey guys, they beat us at the 1. Let's beat them at the 1." Freaking Marshall.
It's not Tom Brady, but it'll work.
I don't know. I still don't argue that play though. Giving the ball to Cam to run was definitely the play there, whether you like it or not. Their running backs weren't gonna do anything. Patriots don't have a running back to give the ball.
They gave the ball to their running back, Cam Newton.
Yeah, exactly, and that was the play to do. They got stuffed. It happens, but
that means
you
we're
can't
throwing
pass
Lamar.
there, especially with Cam Newton. You have to run, and of quarterbacks, there aren't many more guys than Cam Newton that I would rather have doing that. So,
yeah, our lovely committee of injury-prone running backs, we're not going to do it. Because between Michelle and White, I mean, Harris might have been the best option, but that's because Harris hasn't gotten hurt yet. Exactly, yet.
Brady, do you have any other comments on any other of your draft picks? Like anything else really stick out to you?
I mean, the fact that we got a mid-first round ranked player in the early to mid-second round, Christian Barmore, I thought that was a really nice add because, D-tackle was definitely a position of need, especially because, our D-tackles have never really been, the strongest. He was more of, an edge-rushing team. So, that was nice. And then we also added an edge from Oklahoma, Ronnie Perkins. He was supposed to be, a second-round pick, too. Oh! Figured out why. Because he failed a drug test and missed out on half the season. So that's why he fell all the way to the third round. And then, really the only other notable one, we took our Oklahoma's running back, Rodgers Stevenson. I've seen a lot of comparisons to, LeGarrette Blount and, how physical he is. Other than that, we dropped a safety whose last name was Bledsoe, so I'm already a little iffy on that
terrified.
one. Terrified.
Shout out Eric Bledsoe. Brady's least favorite player in the NBA. All right, so I got one more question for you. So, Julian Edelman retires.
Yeah.
You guys draft Ramondre Stevenson at running back and Trey Nixon at wide receiver.
Yeah, that was our 7th rounder.
Do either of them play this year, or are they just scout team players that come in if somebody gets hurt? Or are they here to make an impact right off the bat for the Patriots?
I think Nixon is definitely going to be special teams in depth. Especially after signing Bourne and Aguilar.
Okay.
We still have N'Keal Harry for some ridiculous reason.
But, obviously, we were just talking crap about the Patriots running back core, that nobody is that special. Is Stevenson there to be that game-changing guy, or is he just... just the pick.
We brought back White. We still have Michelle. We still have Damian Harris. Damian Harris sat out most of, if not his entire first year. I can't remember. There were a lot of games that I couldn't actually watch. But I'm assuming Harris got at least a little bit of garbage time minutes his first year. But I can see Stevenson maybe getting some garbage time minutes. But then you have random games I think it was 6 or 7 years ago now. We put in our 3rd or 4th string running back on national TV against the Colts. He had 4 TDs that game, and then he just vanished.
So what do you want the running back order to be then? 1, 2, 3, 4.
See, that's hard because James White's our pass catching back. If Cam actually decides to throw it. But I think if we can pound up the middle with Michelle and Harris. Somewhere there, it's the 2-3. That's fine. I think White will be the number 1 just because he's more of a gadget guy. Kind of like Tariq Cohen would be.
Fair enough.
But yeah, unfortunately, I love getting my hopes up for sports teams, so got a new hope.
Hey, you're going to have to figure that out. So we switch gears over to the Browns.
I was very happy with how the Browns drafted, actually.
Yes, I was.
Our first pick at 26 was Greg Newsome. He was a cornerback out of Northwestern. One of the best corners available at that point. Obviously, our defensive backs were one of our weak points last season, so I'm happy that we spent the first rounder, at least on the defense. If we would have picked an offensive player, I would not have been very happy. But we got our defensive upgrade, and then our second round pick was surprising to me.
Before you go on.
Okay.
So, I wanted them to pick the linebacker of Notre Dame, who we got with our second round pick. So I wasn't mad with our first round pick.
So that was a snag.
Yeah.
In the second round.
Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa? I just call him JOK.
JOK.
I can never pronounce it correctly.
I'm going to say one thing and one thing now.
What?
Watch out, Lamar. Hope you don't get hit by him.
I think that
Well,
would be fun to watch.
Yeah, like I said, I was happy that he dropped. He dropped because of like some kind of heart issue.
Yeah.
He says he's fine, so I mean, for now, I'm just gonna take the guy's word for it.
Mm-hmm.
How
Well-
big of a deal can it really be?
The Browns haven't.
Your heart, it can be a really big deal, Clayton.
Well, if he says he's fine, this is what I mean. If he says he's fine, I'm gonna take his word for it.
I mean,
So-
it's kind of like Justin Fields and like his epilepsy. Like you just kind of gotta take it for what it's worth, and like I guess like the medical records at that point.
Justin Fields has epilepsy?
You guys didn't realize that? Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
yeah. Like
Hey, you learn
that
something
came out
new
like
every
a
day.
day or two before the draft.
That's crazy.
And then our third round pick was Anthony Schwartz. He had the fastest 40 time in the draft.
I thought that was interesting.
I was surprised he dropped that far.
I was gonna say
I was surprised he
heard
dropped that far, and I was kind of surprised we picked him.
I
I heard them
know.
talking about it. He's got like Olympic tier sprint speed.
Yeah.
He will be.
He's gonna be like a Tyreek Hill type guy.
I'm
On a
about to
side
say,
note-
if he develops, he will be a Tyreek Hill.
On a side note, talking about Olympic sprint speed, DK Metcalf, shout out to you, dude.
Oh yeah, facts.
He
I
may
mean-
have gotten last, but he was still pretty fast.
I mean, that's a lot of body to be moving that fast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude's a tank. Shout out to you. Moving on. Then we picked an offensive tackle out of Cincinnati. That's just for depth. For once, the Browns actually have a good offensive
What
line.
was that guy's name?
James Hudson.
That's right. That's what I thought it was.
Then we picked Tommy Togi.
Togiai.
Togiai, is that how you say that? He went to Ohio State.
I
He was
called Big
defensive
Guy.
Say, I-
Togi-
I was glad that they took him.
Then we
Yeah,
picked
Ohio
Tony
State guy.
Fields, linebacker from West Virginia. Again, I'm sure that'll probably just be for depth.
That was for death.
I was gonna say, was
Most,
it
most
was it
of
your
our
guys'
picks are
like
for death.
biggest one? Like, what? Didn't you guys like want like a linebacker or two?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you got
We picked
Fields and
JOK.
Usu Carmella.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm determined to make it so you can say his name right.
Then we got, I'm sure I'll get there eventually. Now we got Richard LeCounte. He was like a defensive back, basically, out of Georgia.
Yeah.
Very versatile.
Yeah, that's
Again,
one of
I'm assuming he'll just be there for depth.
So yeah, he was one of the better safeties in the draft.
Demetric Felton was our last pick.
Oh, that's that running back at
UCLA.
UCLA. Yeah.
He's a wide receiver running back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, he'll probably be used more as a
Gadget
running
plays.
back.
So he does everything.
But
Yeah.
so yeah, I was very satisfied with how the Browns drafted. Like I said, I was happy that the emphasis was more on the defense rather than the offense.
Yeah.
Which was definitely the way to go for them.
Yep.
We definitely added a lot of good pieces.
I think the Browns drafted well and they had a good offseason.
That's
So.
just- I think both our teams, like throughout the offseason and the draft, both performed. Like we all came out with what we needed.
Yeah, I think the Browns are fine. Browns are
Overall,
fine.
Yeah, both teams did well. I don't think there was any. I mean, okay, obviously there was a couple teams, but most of the teams I thought did really well in the draft this year.
Let's talk about one of the teams that did not do well.
Didn't do so well. Yeah.
The Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, no,
What
that's-
are you people
That's not
doing?
to say they didn't do well.
Oh, I
we
mean-
just disagree with their decision making.
I was
Yeah,
gonna-
no
I mean,
offensive
I still
linemen.
thought it was a good pick. I thought it was a good pick. It wasn't what they needed, but it was a good pick.
Yes,
Well, it was a good pick.
The chemistry will be there. They will have a good wide receiver core between Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, and I always forget the other
T.
one.
Higgins.
T. Higgins. They've got a great setup there for their offense.
Yes.
I just don't know if they have the line to go with it.
Exactly.
Joe
In
Burrow seems to think so. Brady, you were just talking about that.
To me, the most important part of any football team, I would argue, is your offensive line.
Oh yeah,
I would argue that.
Well, I mean,
Yep,
yeah.
that's the most important part.
So without an O line,
Especially with a rookie. He's not a rookie anymore. Second-year quarterback who's coming off of a pretty gruesome knee injury
Yeah,
in
tore
his
his knee to
rookie
shreds.
season. I don't get that pick. Why would you not pick Penny Sewell? And I think the Lions made the right pick
Oh yeah, and
in taking him.
they're gonna build around Sewell for a long time.
Yep.
He's gonna be one of those guys like Trent Williams or
I was gonna say, they needed
Trent
him,
Williams,
and then
David
after
Bakhtiari,
Yeah.
those kinds of guys.
After that, they need wide receivers because they lost their only guy who looked like a star wide receiver, and he couldn't stay healthy anyway, so it didn't matter.
And then before we go past the Lions, what do you guys think of the whole Mac Jones smokescreen that the 49ers used? Like, they didn't really need to like have a smokescreen, but like they Shanahan said that he knew it was gonna be Trey Lance the whole time, but all the reports that came out saying that he wanted Jones and everybody else wanted Lance, like I'm not even sure what to think about it.
I mean, they ended up getting what they wanted.
Yeah,
So,
But like, why use a smoke screen? You have the third pick. You know the two guys are going ahead of you. Unless you were really trying to bamboozle the Jets, not that they were gonna move away from their American Idol looking quarterback.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Just gonna say the dude looks like he's from The Bachelor too.
Brady,
Yep.
there are pictures of your quarterback floating around on social media that make him look like he just got kicked out of a frat party.
It's because he probably did.
He always looks like he just got kicked out of a frat party.
The dude looks like he could literally star in a Home Depot commercial.
Star
Goodness.
in a Home Depot.
I'm telling you, Mac the Meme Jones, the nickname's gonna stick.
Stick.
I will make it stick.
All right. Well,
I'll get a jersey with his number on it that just reads the meme across the back. I don't even care.
Don't. My advice to you, don't.
Yeah, I'm not saying. What do you guys think about the Panthers taking a corner though at 8? They took J.C. Horn from South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad idea.
yeah, that's not a terrible pick.
Oh, I know.
but-
I was a good pick. I was just surprised.
I was surprised too.
I thought they'd trade back.
So what are the Panthers' receiving core now? Because they lost Curtis Samuel, who was probably their best.
Yeah.
They were
They have DJ Moore still.
They
hard.
I know they have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Who's a
And
pretty
Christian
Robbie Anderson's
McCaffrey,
gonna be a
he's
good
kind of a
one.
do-it-all.
Honestly, yeah,
I mean,
McCaffrey's
McCaffrey's going to be their workhorse,
For
and
sure.
and maybe that's their plan. Maybe they got rid of their star receiver, get something in return for him, so that way Christian McCaffrey can run their offense, and hopefully he stays healthy after this, so we don't have to worry about it.
Who's the Panthers tight end?
I don't know.
I can't
Greg
remember.
Olsen.
Not anymore.
He was back in the day. No, didn't he go to Seattle?
Yeah, he
Went
didn't
to
Seattle.
Seattle.
He might have retired after this year, actually. I think
Sure
he
might
did.
have.
I don't know. Well, I'm
Well,
interested to see what how the Panthers end
The
up
Panthers are
doing.
not. The Panthers are definitely not competing this year.
Oh,
Like,
of course
everybody
not.
knows that. They
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
They were.
They could be a sneaky team, though.
I mean,
Dude, you have the Browns in the bottom half of the league. You're not allowed to make any predictions there. All right? Yeah,
I mean-
watch it.
I don't think that the eyes will be on the Panthers overall. I think the eyes are going to be on Darnold, especially after trading Bridgewater. To
I would
Denver.
agree with that.
Everybody's only going to be looking at the Panthers quarterback stats, and obviously how far McCaffrey can run.
Well, I mean,
Right.
yeah,
how many fantasy
he
points
will-
McCaffrey can rack up every
Yeah.
week?
Exactly.
I would argue that rushing yards are more looked at than passing yards, just like overall.
It depends on their team. I mean, for the Browns, rushing yards are looked at more for sure.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, yeah,
because
but, like-
99% of the time, MVP voting is who threw the most touchdowns and who threw for the most yards. So
Well, I mean, yeah, but just like I feel like I see more posts about rushing yards and rushing leaders than I do passing yards and passing leaders.
Well, that's because your quarterback runs.
That was a good one. I'll give you that one. That was good. That was a good one. I'm impressed.
Bravo.
I was trying to go with a valid argument. You just pulled that out. Oh my gosh. Oh man. That's because anytime anybody rushes for over 200 yards, it's insane.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Until Derrick Henry does it for another season, then it's just gonna be a normal stat. It's gonna be like Russell Westbrook with a triple double.
Yeah.
Like that stat is barely even cool anymore in the NBA because it's almost a nightly thing now between Luka and Russell Westbrook,
Yeah.
LeBron sometimes.
Every once in a
Man,
while. yeah.
imagine having a player that could get a triple double.
Anything else about the draft? Trevor Lawrence was going 1, Zach Wilson was going 2.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
understood. What do you guys think about the Jalen Waddle pick?
I was fine with
I
it.
mean, he was arguably the best receiver in
Honestly,
the draft.
it,
Arguably.
Arguably.
I think he would have won the Heisman if
He
he
was healthy.
wasn't.
Well, the Heisman winner thinks so too. So I mean, that's fairly high praise. But they're also teammates, so you know. That says something.
Usually guys who are close knit as Smith and Waddle, you'll see that.
Well, we'll see how they get along with Tua. Like I said, I've seen a lot of stuff about guys not wanting to catch passes from a lefty. So
That's because well, I mean, obviously Tua's the only lefty starter,
I was
so
gonna say,
no one's used to it.
It's definitely a lot to figure out, but at the same time, you got to think he's left-handed and he still made it this far. He must be pretty good.
he's doing something correct.
Yeah. I never realized how big of a deal that was. Because, like, in the MLB, you want to have left-handed pitchers.
Right, you have to have left-handed pitchers.
Yeah, you have to have
win.
something that changes it up. But in the NFL, it's like, no,
Yeah.
we don't want that.
But speaking of Alabama, we got the whole little sequence of picks 9 through 12. The Broncos surprising everybody by swiping Patrick Surtain away from the Dallas Cowboys.
Not too happy about that one, but Micah Parsons is still a very good pick for them.
Yeah.
It's just not what they initially wanted.
Yeah. Then like you just mentioned, a pick 10, the Eagles and Cowboys collectively just told the Giants to screw off and traded spots so the Eagles could take Devontae Smith
That
right
made
out of
me
the
so
Giants.
happy.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. That division literally doesn't care about winning football. They just care about pissing each other off.
And it's well played.
It's
Then-
funny for
yeah.
everybody else.
I was gonna say, it's annoying as a neutral fan, but like I'm not in any of the fan bases, so I also don't have to care that much.
And
So
well, while we're still on Devontae Smith, there were 4 quarterback and like receiver duos that got reunited. Burrow and Chase,
Okay.
Tua and Waddle, Hurts and Devontae Smith, and then in all technicalities, Lawrence and Etienne, but reunited and receiver are a stretch there because they were already
Well, count
together.
it.
I was gonna
Close
say they
enough.
counted it. They counted it in the video.
They're
We'll give
not
it to
really.
him.
He's not a receiver now, though, right?
I mean, he's gonna be their receiving back pretty much, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard that they might make him the workhorse, try to keep Robinson healthy, which I think is dumb, but we'll see. I think they need to
They're
use.
still in a growing period. So
Yeah, the Jaguars are for sure in the rebuilding stages right now.
Yeah,
But they got their quarterback and they got a good running back other than James Robinson. So
Urban Meyer, he's putting it together down there. Now, speaking of Ohio State, then the Giants were like, well, they just took our freaking guy. Now we'll ruin somebody else's dreams. So that somebody else is Justin Fields, not even mine, just Justin Fields.
Yeah.
no, it was yours
Dude,
too.
the pictures
Only
of
mine
Justin
too.
Fields that came out after he got drafted, he did not look very happy.
Yeah.
What would you be?
Bro, they literally ruined it
Well,
because
yes, if I got a first round contract, yeah, I'd be pretty happy
Literally-
with that. But
literally they hadn't even announced that the pick was in before we knew it was Fields because they've like panned over to like his house camera
While
and
he's
no
on
one
the-
was
while he's on the phone
sitting
like
there.
this.
Literally, no one was sitting there. Everybody was like off and away, and you were like, well, obviously no one's sitting there. That means he's on the phone.
yeah,
Like, spoil it. But yeah, he came back. He did not look happy,
No.
and neither did I.
no, you were pretty depressed looking. So, obviously, we've gone over pick 15. We talked about the Cowboys a little. They got Micah Parsons. Still a good pick for them, just he wasn't their first option, so be it.
Yeah,
I don't really care about too many of the other picks after that, really.
I do want to say something about pick 17 though.
Okay.
Go for it.
I was going to say 24 was the next place
Well, I was gonna go 17.
Go for it.
Because the Raiders reached down for a 3rd round tackle in the first round. And it is the 3rd year in a row they have pulled somebody off of no one else's boards. And we're just like, hey, you know what? I think we're going to take this guy. Like Cleveland Farrell from Clemson a couple years ago. They picked about 4.
Yeah, the Raiders are...
Their drafting strategy is so mind-boggling to me.
Their entire team is mind-boggling. Their entire organization is mind-boggling.
They play in Vegas, dude. It's all about the gambles.
That's true. And then
How many of those have worked?
What?
1 or 2. Maybe.
Do they have any rings?
Nope.
Vegas doesn't.
yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, but at this rate, they're going to become a big 4 sports city. We'll get to it.
Vegas should be a big 4 sports city.
Should
Sure.
be, for sure.
But before we go to 24, I do also want to ask you guys' thoughts of the Giants taking Kadarius Toney from Florida after missing out on Devontae Smith.
I mean, they need a receiver,
Yeah.
so they need to revamp their receiver core.
I was gonna say Kenny Galladay
also-
paired with Kadarius Toney.
Well, obviously
That'd be
that's not
interesting. Well, I mean, yeah,
ideal, but the Giants need to revamp a lot of things. But
yeah.
okay, so the Steelers definitely needed a running back.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
That was the way to go.
With the departure of James Conner, that was definitely their most pressing need.
Well, I mean, a good quarterback is their most pressing need right now. But
I mean, he's not gonna run for.
What do you mean? They have Mason Rudolph, Ben Roethlisberger, and Dwayne Haskins now.
yeah,
They're loaded.
If you put them all together, they're almost an average quarterback.
I feel like they drafted somebody else too. I just feel like they drafted somebody like really late.
Well,
I'm gonna look at that. I mean, personally, I still thought that Najee Harris would go at 16 to the Cardinals. So I mean, I was surprised that they took.
they did draft a punter in the 7th round.
Well, that's good. They're gonna need that a lot.
Presley Harvin III. Okay, so are we pretty much done with the draft? I think
I think so.
I think we've covered it fairly well.
Oh,
Everything.
I do want to bring up one more. What do you guys think about the Packers not taking an offensive player with their first round pick?
Good on you, mate.
See you later, mate.
I don't know what either of those meant.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is leaving.
Oh, okay. Well, the good news is they have a new A. Rodgers on the team.
That is true. They did in fact draft Amari Rodgers, receiver from Clemson, with like their 3rd round pick. Then the other pick that was baffling to me was the pick right before the Packers. The Saints took an edge rusher that I literally had never even heard of. Peyton Turner from Houston.
Maybe he had a good workout.
They couldn't see
Saints.
the draft board because their eyes were so like twisted from the amount of cap space they had to clear, and they did clear it.
They did.
I think they were
did
just
it
still
real
crying
quick.
over Drew Brees leaving and we picked the wrong person.
Yeah, they submitted the wrong name because they were still crying from Drew Brees'
They-
retirement party.
Yeah. They secretly meant to try to draft Trevor Lawrence. But
Final thoughts about the draft? Clayton, anything?
Browns drafted good. I'm excited to see what everybody does.
Isaac?
Excellent.
Brady?
Jaguars go at 8-7. No, 8-7, 9-8.
Jaguars have a winning season in their first year under the new head coach.
Hey man,
I'll go second year, they'll go...
Trevor Lawrence has never lost a regular season game.
Yeah, and that's going to change week 1. I don't even know who they're playing, but it's going to change. My only thing is I had the draft took forever.
That is
like
true.
longer than normal. It was painful.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so talking about the Jaguars here, Trevor Lawrence got, we'll say an okay tight end. We don't
We
know
don't know
yet.
if he's an okay tight end.
He-
We've never
he-
seen him as a tight end.
He got himself his own taste of hell.
Yeah,
We've seen him as a quarterback
back.
and a left fielder. I think he played left field in the minors.
He played all three.
He played outfield.
I watched him play left.
I was gonna say I got to watch him play center. So
There you go. So he's just a massive center fielder. Wow.
and he's only gotten bigger since he came back.
Oh, you're right.
For those of you who
tank.
don't know who the heck we're talking about, Tim Tebow has made his return to the NFL.
As a tight end.
with
Signed a
Erdman,
1-year, $920,000 contract.
and he's like 32, I want to say.
Something like that.
He's been out of the league for 7 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think he's been longer.
He's 33.
Something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's been 7 years.
So he'll play maybe 1 to
He's-
3 years.
He's going to be Taysom Hill.
I was going to say, it depends on how he does. There's a lot of things that they can do with Tim Tebow. They could have some trick plays with a tight end, which would be weird.
Would
Or
be
maybe-
amazing.
It'd be fun to watch.
If they can bring in another tight end, then that'll be terrifying. But
I don't know. There's a lot of things the Jaguars can do this year, and they have a lot of potential. I just don't know how it's going to work out. A lot of times, college coaches don't transition well to the big leagues, so we'll see what happens. You know,
yeah.
we know Urban Meyer is a very well tested coach. I mean, the dude's literally been everywhere.
It's
So-
true. It's been to Utah, Ohio State, and Florida.
If we watch
Not
one,
green.
VG.
Oh, that is true. I always forget about
You
that.
always forget VG, and he always adds it in for you.
Yeah.
That's because if it's BG, he just knows it by heart. Just like
Yeah.
Scotty Miller.
So, anyways, Jaguars, lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Prediction for the season. We already got Brady's.
Well,
I
the
think-
Jaguars, at least, yeah.
Out of
That's what we're talking
17
about.
games, I think they go 6-11. I think they'll win some, obviously.
What was their record this year?
1-15.
I knew that,
They won week 1 against the Colts and didn't win another game.
which is crazy. I was going to bring up the Colts. Anyways, Jaguars.
We'll say 4-13.
That prediction was actually intelligent.
That
I'll
was
give him that one. And you said 9-7.
Oh, I'm the one who's
9-8.
probably gonna sound like an
9-8.
idiot this time. But yeah, I'm gonna go 9-8. I think they can squeeze it out.
I think they go 7-10 at best.
I mean, they're gonna be at least 2-15. They do in fact get to play the Texans twice.
Oh, true. Yeah, I mean, I'd go somewhere between the 4 and 7 numbers. So
Never did I think I would say within the little time period we're in right now that the Jaguars would go 2-0 against the Texans, but
true. The Texans had all the potential to be really good, and then as soon as they
Then
dumped
they went-
Hopkins. Oh,
They blew up.
I figured it out. You were pulling the pin on your grenade and just holding it. That's
No, it was lighting the bomb.
That would be something Isaac
that's
would
what
do.
it was.
yeah, pretty much.
No, Isaac would hold the pin and pull the grenade.
Oh
Right.
yeah, true.
He'd be like, "So what's this supposed to do?" Ah, wait.
Oh. Anyway,
So I forgot to mention this in the draft, or when we were talking about the draft. The Colts were known this year as one of the better defensive teams. So what is their logic in drafting a cornerback in the first round? Why would you improve on your already better part?
I think it's because their quarterbacks are so injury prone.
I'm about to
They
say,
were so many times last year where they were short on corners and had to play safeties. The safeties all crossed because their corners kept getting hurt. Like Rock Gibson and Kenny Moore both just kept going down. In fact, I'm pretty sure there at least one, if not both of them, were down in the playoffs. They only had like one primary corner.
But still, if you're getting corners for depth, why would you take that in the first round? Why wouldn't you wait till round 3, round 4, and bolster the offense that you don't have?
Hey man, why would you trade up for?
They've got
why
a
would you trade up
young
for a
running
quarterback
back.
when you have 4
Yes.
years left to Aaron Rodgers? same kind of principle.
No comment.
Exactly. It's like the
maybe
same thing.
they thought that corner they drafted was going to be maybe better than one of the corners they had this year.
Which corner did they take again?
I couldn't remember.
They took. No, they took a defensive end. They took Quiddy Pay. They took a defensive end, which is one of their needs.
They still bolstered their defense. That was the point. That was my
Yeah.
wrong defense position. If I would have brought it up during the draft, that probably would have been helpful. But, it's too late. Anyways, still, their defense is not their worst part. It's by far their strong suit. So why would you...
I mean,
That leaves the question the same. Why
I
would
mean-
you bolster an already solid defense?
When you have a Carson Wentz at quarterback.
Well, there's nobody else for them to take at quarterback at that point.
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think it's because Justin Houston became a free agent, so they had an edge spot to fill. I think is what it is.
Oh, yeah. And then that would make sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah, because Justin Houston's probably going to be relatively hard to replace. Old or not, he's going to be hard to replace. Speaking of hard to replace, Washington football team hasn't been able to replace their quarterback firmly since Kirk Cousins left. And now, Alex Smith is retired after winning Comeback Player of the Year.
I was kind of sad. I was hoping for another season or two out of him, but, it makes
He's
sense.
36. I get it. You know, after coming off of from not knowing if you're gonna walk again to even getting one more season in is amazing.
See, I think
I
there is-
say that's the way to go out, though.
Yeah, he walked out with some hardware, that's for sure.
Yep. And who knows? He might get that award named after him someday.
Well, he could, yeah.
Should.
It should.
So,
Anyway.
you went with the transition of hard to replace and went to Alex Smith, so that confused me a little bit. I was going to go with Aaron Rodgers. He's a little harder to replace than
Well,
Alex
I
Smith.
mean, obviously. But I mean, they already tried to replace him, so evidently they didn't think it was that hard.
What do you guys think he'll leave? Do you guys think that Green Bay would let him walk
No.
or trade him? They wouldn't let him walk. I
I
guess,
mean,
but trade him.
he's done in Green Bay, but Green Bay is not done with him. It's not.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think he's going to sit out some of the season until they trade him. I firmly believe that.
Well, they only have 3 options, and well, see, the quarterbacks in the way are Trey Lance / Jimmy G, Derek Carr, and Teddy Bridgewater. So, for those of you who are confused, it's the Broncos, Raiders, and Niners. Hoping y'all do that.
Nope. I didn't.
No,
Be
those are the
honest.
teams on his wish list.
I think he goes to the Broncos.
I could see that.
He's got to do his best Peyton Manning impression.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Got a one-upping.
I think he ends up in Vegas.
I'll throw a hot take out there.
Aaron Rodgers would look weird in black and gray.
It would match his beard.
Well,
Wow. Throwing shade.
Hot take.
Yes, sir.
He gets traded to the Minnesota Vikings.
oh, that's not a hot take. That's a stupid take.
They're not going to
No,
trade him
that's-
in the division.
Yeah, but it would be crazy if they did.
Yeah.
Well,
They would never trade
The
an
problem
MVP
is the
in
problem
the
is
division.
that trade would have to be like Kirk Cousins and
Like that first round for like the next decade.
or Jefferson. They're
Oh, yeah.
up and coming star receiver
or
to pair alongside Devontae
See,
Adams.
well, see, here's the problem with that. Even if they tried to screw Aaron Rodgers over or trade him to a bad team, they won't be a bad team with Aaron Rodgers on it.
Exactly.
Like, even if they put him on the freaking Texans, the Texans would be a good team still.
Well,
They,
yeah.
they would be a less garbage team.
yeah.
Okay, but the Texans made the playoffs most years under Deshaun Watson.
I just think it's a confusing situation to me because I saw Aaron Rodgers as a Packers for life kind of guy. And he seems like a guy who has way too much dignity to sit out of the season.
Yeah.
He seems like a guy to me that would more just tough it out, do what he has to do until his contract runs out. So, I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell with that.
I mean,
To me, I can't really make any predictions for it.
I think he might leave after his contract's up if he has to stay at least a little bit longer.
I could see that. That,
He will-
to me, makes a lot
He will
more
definitely
sense.
be gone within the next contract.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Or before he signs his next contract.
Julio Jones wants out of Atlanta.
You call him a star player?
I don't think Julio's done anything enough for me in the last 3 years to be considered a
That's
star.
it.
Okay,
He
but he's
hasn't done
still
anything
a
special.
star player.
His name is a star.
Yeah, exactly.
He is not. It's
Exactly.
too late for him.
But do you think part of that's Matt Ryan? Like,
No.
do you think you
Maybe.
could find him old self under a different quarterback?
No.
Maybe.
Really?
I think he's got too many drops and too many injuries.
I swear there was like a year or two stretch where he didn't drop anything. But I believe you.
There might have been, but that was a year or two ago.
We'll see.
I think at this point it is past his time
I
think
to be
it depends
considered
on-
a top tier receiver.
would
Him
still,
in that argument with like Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins
Wait, that's not
when
valid
they
anymore.
when they were arguing on social media of who's the best receiver in the league, he doesn't belong on that tier anymore.
I would almost argue that he's not the best receiver on the Falcons anymore.
Exactly. Calvin Ridley is
yeah.
trying to get into the conversation with Adams and Hopkins. The only difference is he doesn't have the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting for sure. It's also definitely going to depend on where he goes. 'Cause I think if he goes to a team like the Titans, it would be like...
He's still not going to catch the ball a lot because it's not a top tier quarterback and it's a heavy run offense.
Well, I mean,
As
yeah.
it should be, With King Henry out there, I would hope you're running the ball at least
But I mean-
60% of
But
the
even,
time.
Exactly.
but still, even run-heavy offenses make their receivers look good. Like, Jarvis Landry still looks good in the Browns offense, doesn't he?
But he's still not a top tier receiver.
Looking good and being top tier are two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You can average 70 to 80 yards a game and get a touchdown here and there and not be...
I don't know. I think if Julio
Great
goes somewhere
receiver.
though where he is the number one and it's a more throwing based game.
70% of teams in the league will look at Julio Jones as a wide receiver one for them.
The Packers should look at Julio Jones, but that probably won't happen.
There's no way.
I don't think
They
they
don't
have the
need him.
money.
Not for that. Not for his.
No, a lot of
Much money
Packers
as he
fans
has.
complain that they need more receivers, which makes no sense to me because they have arguably the best receiver in the league.
Receiver.
I was gonna say who
Singular.
they have outside of him though.
Okay, but when you have a receiver that's that good and a solid run game, do you really need 3 All-Stars?
I mean, Devonta Adams gets freaking double teamed every time because they know nobody else is actually going to catch the ball. That's part of the problem. Is then because they double team Devonta Adams, and then they can just crunch Aaron Jones, and they don't have anything to worry about. Because where else is he going to go? He going to run it himself? They're going to kick a freaking field goal in the red zone.
You seem kind of angry about this. You've been talking to Blake too much?
I mean, I do live with the guy.
I think Julio could become his old self if he goes to the right team.
And who's the right team then? What team has a good quarterback with no offense?
Well, it depends how, like, a Mac Jones develops, or...
I mean, he could go to the Texans.
Who's their quarterback?
My point right now, but
Gotta have somebody to throw him the ball.
Joke's on you, they're going to send Matt Ryan to the Texans as well.
yeah, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones for Deshaun Watson,
For
straight up.
Watson and Walker the fourth and
No. The Texans, they're
or
going
fifth,
to...
whatever he is.
They'll be like, hey, we'll give you our next 4 first-round picks and Deshaun for both of them. Because, it's kind of like that freaking DeAndre Hopkins is terrible.
I don't know. I'm just gonna laugh when Julio Jones gets the Falcons a better pull than DeAndre Hopkins did for the Texans. Because that's just going to make the Texans look even worse.
Yeah.
Because Julio Jones is not the receiver that DeAndre Hopkins is. Not a chance. And all they got was a 3rd-round pick for him. That still blew my mind when it happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting things that can happen in the NFL that will create a lot of parity in the league. But whether you like it or not, the Chiefs and the Buccaneers are still going to be the top dogs. And it's going to be everyone else fighting to catch them. Especially since both teams brought pretty much everyone back.
Yeah.
Buccaneers brought everyone back. Chiefs.
The Chiefs just added to their O-line.
Yeah.
A lot.
They just changed their O-line, didn't they? Didn't they essentially get everyone out?
Yeah.
Restart
They
it?
cut their 2 tackles.
I was gonna say they cut their 2 tackles, but the amount of different guys that can pretty much do it all they got in there, like they signed Joe Tooney away from the Patriots. He can do it all.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely revamped their offensive line.
Which, when you have a very talented quarterback, like
And running back.
yeah, quarterback, running back, and wide receiver, offensive line is very important.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all I got.
That's what I got.
I'm excited for the NFL season to get underway. It'll be fun. Rest of the offseason coming up. When is week 1?
September 9th is the first game of the season.
The regular season, right? Not preseason. Are they even doing preseason this
Yeah,
year?
Yes.
Hall of Fame game in 3 weeks of preseason.
3 weeks preseason. Because that 4th week would cause COVID, but 3 weeks is okay.
True.
Okay,
And that's all we have for Hot Take Sports episode 19. Be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms at Hot Take Sports 16. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next
And check
time.
out the Lima Locos. First game, June 4th, Simmons Field.